Welcome to this soul-lifting broadcast, which has been put together for your spiritual growth and to make greatness common right where you are. Be sure to make the best of this moment as God takes the lead in all that concerns you.
Raise your voice. Tell your neighbor, raise your voice. All through this month, God wants to hear your voice. And you need to raise your voice. You don't want to get to that place of desperation before you raise your voice to God. The Bible says God is love. And when you say somebody is love, is an embodiment of love. One of the attributes of love is connection, is intimacy. Anyone that is loved, that you call love, will crave for intimacy, will crave for affection. And so some of us live our lives in such a way that we can go from here to there, do all kinds of things without even thinking. Am I meeting the need of God in this love relationship that I have with God? When the Bible says God is love, it means that if he has his way, he wants you around all the time. Because he's very passionate about intimacy. Yeah. A loving person does not withdraw from people. I hope you understand what I'm saying. He is accommodating. He wants people around him, or she wants people around her. And that's how God is. So God wants me in his presence. And when I get into his presence, when I'm within his sphere, he wants to hear my voice. So this month you're going to pray like you've never done before. You're going to worship like you've never done before. Because God delights in hearing our voices. Tell your neighbor for me, say, raise your voice. Before I get into the story that I want to unpack in the little time that I have, I want us to first of all read from Hebrews chapter 4. We'll read verse 14, 15, and 16. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 14, 15, and 16. It says, seeing then that we have a great high priest who has passed through the heavens, Jesus, the Son of God, let us hold fast our confession. For we do not have a high priest who cannot sympathize. King James says, who cannot be touched. New King James says, who cannot sympathize with our weaknesses, but was in all points tempted as we are, yet without sin. Let us therefore, verse 16, let us therefore come boldly. Somebody say boldly. Tap your neighbor for me and say boldly. Yeah. Let us therefore come boldly to the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in the time of need. And if there's a time of need, this is a time of need. I don't know about you, this is a time of need. Yeah. I need the mercy of God. I need the favor of God. I need increase all around me. Yeah. I need sound mind. I need sound health. I need not my strength, but the strength of God. Is somebody still with me today? Yeah. Yeah. If you're going to take territories, you must trust him for grace. I was reading earlier today from the book of Joshua. I've been studying the book of Joshua. The book of Joshua is about taking territories. Maybe you join me and study the book of Joshua this month, and perhaps study also a bit of Acts of the Apostles. Because when you want to take territories, when you trust God to do new things through you, when you trust God to use you in a new dimension, you need to be able to understand what it took the people of old to walk in that realm. So God kept encouraging Joshua. The moment he took over, he announced the death of Moses to him himself. Said, Joshua, he said, listen, just in case you are still wondering whether Moses is going to wake up or not. Joshua, Moses, my servant, is dead. As in dead. He's not coming back. You know, sometimes, some of us, we need to wake up to the realization that some things are in the past in our lives. Yeah, that some things are really and truly in the past in our lives. We need to just wake up to that realization, that recognition of the fact that what is past is past. What is gone is gone. What is past is past. What is gone is gone. So that we can start to think about how to take new territories. We can start to think about the new things that are ahead of us. Look at this. Joshua chapter 1, when you read verse 1 and 2. The Bible says in verse 1 of the book of Joshua chapter 1. I didn't even really mean to read this, but I think somebody needs to hear this. Someone need to hear this. The Bible says here, Joshua chapter 1 and verse number 1. After the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, it came to pass that the Lord spoke to Joshua, the son of Nun, Moses' assistant, saying, look at verse 2. Moses, my servant, is what? I cannot hear you. Can you imagine Jehovah God announcing to somebody as if Joshua did not know? Joshua was his assistant. Yeah. But God had to announce it. You know, you get to a point, some point in your life, God wants to reveal to you or announce to you or bring you to the realization that all things have passed away. Yeah. This is the kind of month where somebody needs to come to the realization that, you know, what is dead is dead. There's no point flogging a dead horse. What is dead is dead. God announced to Joshua, you know what? It's either you take charge or nothing. Moses is dead, and there's nothing you're going to do about it. Yeah. Someone needs to hear this month, maybe that, you know what? That arm of flesh is dead. Maybe that business they are struggling to do with a lot of bribery and corruption and all that, God said, it's dead. If it's dead, it's dead. So you need to move on and conquer new territories. Yeah. Somebody say with me today. Yeah, that abusive relationship you are holding on to. And yet, you're breaking down all the time. You're depressed. If it's dead, it's dead. Let it go. Say amen, somebody. Yeah. So if it's dead, it's dead. Let it go. So God announcing to Moses here, to Joshua here, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now you are in charge. And you're not just in charge anyhow. You are in charge to take charge. And take over new territories. Yeah. And take over new territories. Yeah. Take over new territories. And God kept encouraging him. Moses, my servant, is dead. Now, therefore, arise, go over this Jordan, you and all the people, to the land which I'm giving to them. To the children of Israel. And he said, every place that is sole of your foot shall tread upon, I have given you. As I have said to Moses, I've given you as I've said to Moses. Verse 4 says, from the wilderness and this Lebanon as far as the great river. God started to apportion territories and affirming the fact that he's a promise keeper. He keeps promises from generation to generation. I told Joshua, you know what? Everything I told Moses, I have not repented. I'm going to do everything. It's just that an era has come to an end, and it's a new era. And you have to take charge. You have to be in control. You have to lay hold on new territories. You have to, take hold of grace and of the anointing. Be bold. Be bold. See, verse 7, only be strong and very courageous. Verse 6, be strong and of good courage. For to these people you shall divide as an inheritance the land which I swore to their fathers to give to them. God kept saying, be bold and be courageous. Be bold and be courageous. What do you do when an anointing comes upon your life to take new territories? The only thing that can rob you of the new territory is boldness. Especially boldness that can give you power with God. Boldness in his presence. So I've come to announce to somebody here tonight that whatever has intimidated you in the past, as you partake of the communion tonight, you need to trust God to let go of the intimidation and the harassment of the devil. Because you need boldness. You see, the Bible says God has given unto us all things that pertain to life and godliness through the knowledge of him. He is everything. The work that Christ did on the cross of Calvary was not, how do I put it now? Was not a part job, He finished it. When he hung on the cross, he said, it is finished. What finished? Every requirement for my redemption and your redemption. What qualifies me for the best of God, he finished it. He did the job. and he finished it totally. So God essentially is not looking so much at me. He wants me, to be holy. He wants me to walk after, him and be perfect and all that and keep maturing. But what qualifies me to come into his presence is not how I look or what I've done, but what Christ has done. Yeah. The Bible says it's the propitiation, substitution for our sins. He died, his death was called a substitutionary death. Are you following me tonight? It was substitutionary. He was just the typology of God said, Abraham, go and sacrifice Isaac. Abraham got there. A ram was caught in the thicket. Instead of Isaac, the ram. When John saw Jesus in the early part of the Gospels, especially at the Jordan, before the baptism, he said, behold the Lamb of God who took away the sins of the world. Before you sin one, he took it. Yeah. So God is not surprised that you are still shacking up. He wants you to stop. But he says, that's not what qualifies you to come into my presence. Are you still with me today? Someone already paid the price for your qualification. So when you come with boldness so that those things can drop from your life. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Yeah. So you come with boldness so that those things can start to drop from your life. Because grace has to rub off on you for certain things to drop. Yeah. Some things will not leave you, just anyhow. Some things, the Bible says from the day of John the Baptist, the kingdom of God suffers violence, and violence take it by force. The real violence is when I can stay in his presence by force. So I'm not good enough, but I'm present, sir. And everybody may not like me, but I'm present, sir. Because I know in your presence. I know when I stay long enough, something will drop. I know when I stay long enough, your presence rubs off on me. Your grace rubs off on me. Your holiness rubs off on me. Then I can say, like Paul, I am what I am by the grace of God. I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying tonight. Yeah? I am what I am by the grace of God. So, it's not about struggling. Yeah? If I want to struggle at all, I want to struggle to remain in his presence. I want to struggle to remain in his presence. So the Bible says here, let us come, therefore, boldly to the throne of grace. Hebrews chapter 4 and verse number 16. That we may obtain mercy and find help in a time of trouble. Let's read as I start to tie all this up. Let's read from Mark chapter 10. Mark chapter 10. Mark chapter 10 and verse number 38. Mark chapter 10. Glory be to Jesus. Verse 48 of Mark chapter 10, verse 48. Let's read from 46. Mark chapter 10, 46. We read the story of blind Bartimaeus. Blind Bartimaeus. It says, now they came to Jericho, and as he was out of Jericho with his disciples, a great multitude, blind Bartimaeus, the son of Timaeus, sat by the road. So Jesus was walking an entourage, a serious, mighty entourage, his disciples, a great multitude. Blind Bartimaeus did not know that it was in a season like we are in right now, when God says, I want to do something new. When God says, I want to renew your strength. When God says, I want to create a shift in your life. When God says that the last few months of this year will not end like the other one. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Bartimaeus was used to just sitting around by the corner. So Jesus was passing by here. The Bible says, normally he sat by the road and, and begs. Verse 47. And when he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to cry out and say, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. He began to cry out. That's why I said this month, as we go into this remaining months of the year, you need to make up your mind that your voice will be heard. Tap your neighbor for me again. Say, raise your voice. Say, it's time to raise your voice. So, Bartimaeus was sitting like he will normally do. Jesus was passing by. Disciples, great multitude, entourage. Ordinarily, you shouldn't have time for someone like Bartimaeus. And some people have come to accept his situation as being normal. Even Bartimaeus somehow had accepted his situation as being a blind person and just sitting by the road. But this time around, I don't know what happened to him, but something happened to him. Whatever happened to blind Bartimaeus must happen to you now. Something that made him feel like enough of status quo. Yeah, something has to change. Something has to be different. And he knew the right route to go, which is to seek his presence, which is to raise his voice to Jehovah. Because this month, you need to raise your voice. You need to raise your voice. Except you raise your voice, some things may not change. Are you still with me today? Yeah. Except you raise your voice like Bartimaeus did, some things may not change. Bartimaeus spoke out, but one thing that I wanted to write down tonight and note very well is that prayer becomes real prayer when you pray and raise your voice out of a revelation, or you are speaking from the revelation of God that you have back to him. You know, Bartimaeus could have just, sat there and just raised his voice and say, hey, I'm here and I'm blind. Wouldn't that be okay? To just say, hey, there's a blind man sitting down here. And that's what many people do. That's what many people do. Lord, help me to preach this tonight. That's what many people do. That's what many people, but we have to stop. Your pain doesn't move. God is not moved by pain. God is moved by faith. The Bible says without faith, it's impossible to please God. God is not moved by predicament. God is moved by faith. And how do we express faith? When we come to the place of prayer, we express faith by raising our voice based on the revelation of God that we have. Jesus asked his disciples, who do men say that I am? Peter spoke, you are the Christ. That's my revelation. The Son of the living God. It changed everything. Bartimaeus sitting down here could have shouted, hey, I'm blind. But he said, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. He spoke. He raised his voice out of revelation. Yeah, out of revelation. His revelation of Jesus is that of Son of David, who has the power to show mercy. Is somebody stay with me tonight? At that point, there was nothing about I'm blind or I'm broke. He was blind, broke, busted, and disgusted. Yet, he didn't start with any of those things. Yeah, he didn't start with any of those things. Jesus said, when you pray, pray after this manner. Our Father who art in heaven. Talk about your revelation of God first. Yeah. In worship, talk about your revelation of God. Look at the kind of songs we're singing tonight. You are great, yes you are. Mighty God. You walk upon the sea. You raise the dead. You say all those are your revelation of God. Those are the things that get his attention before he says, look, so what can I do for you? Yeah. I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying tonight. So somebody here tonight, you need to make up your mind. It's time for my voice to be heard. You see, when you start to talk like that, some people feel you are not making sense. When you speak out of the depth of revelation from your heart to God, when you raise your voice, when you refuse to be silent, some people think you are not making sense. You know, they told Bartimaeus to keep short. Yeah, because some more important people were around. Some more important people were around. They told him to keep quiet. Verse 48 here of Mark chapter 10. Then many warned him to be quiet. But he cried out all the more, Son of David, I have only one revelation. I'm going to exhaust it. I'm going to use it until it brings results. You know, he didn't change what he was saying. Son of David, have mercy on me. If it's only one revelation of God that you have, make sure I produce result for you this month. Yeah. Keep saying it. Keep declaring it until you get a result by it. If you know God as Jehovah Jireh, if he has been your provider before, he can do it again. He won't do it in the same proportion. He will take it to a new level. If you have gotten a revelation of him before as the healer, raise your voice. Call him who he is. And let him break out in your direction. If somebody stay with me tonight. That was exactly what happened in this place. And somebody here tonight, you just need to tell God, I need grace to raise my voice. I need grace for boldness. I need grace to seek your presence. I need grace not to let go. When situations, when my mind is warning me, you know, when people are warning me, I want to keep talking. In verse 49, the Bible says, so Jesus stood still and commanded him to be called. Then they called the blind man, saying to him, be of good cheer, rise. He is calling you. Look at verse 50. The moment he got the message that Jesus was calling him, the Bible says, and he threw aside his garment. He rose and came to Jesus. End of story. You know what that means? Bartimaeus had a garment. It was a garment, it was a uniform for the blind people. In his days, they were separated. I mean, they were identified by certain things. So that garment of blind beggar, uniform, he threw it away, knowing that something was going to happen. That this one revelation of Jehovah that I have, time will not permit me. You know, there's a place in the scriptures where they were asking themselves about Jesus. Matthew chapter 12, verse 22 down to 24. Then one was brought to him who was demon-possessed, blind and mute, and he healed him, so that the blind and the mute man both spoke and saw. Look at this. And all the multitude were amazed and said, could this be? What? We'll unpack it another day. I said I will unpack this another day. Could this be the Son of David? They were doubting that revelation. Calling Jesus the Son of David has a messianic connotation. I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying. Yeah, take your time. Just go and read it. Go and study it. Study, read the Bible. Get the revelation of Jesus. Yeah. Could this be the Son of... Because it has to be a Son of David for him to do. He could not see. Bartimaeus could not see. The people who could see all he was doing, they were still doubting whether it was the Son of David or not. I submit to you tonight, revelation is a thing of the heart. Yeah. With the heart, man believes. Romans chapter 10, verse 10. With the heart, man believes. With the heart, man believes. What do you believe in your heart about Jesus? What has he done in your life before? Are you going to dig into the Bible this month and get your personal revelation of who he is? This revelation must be personal to Bartimaeus. He kept saying it. Son of David, have mercy on me. He insisted that nothing was going to cut off his voice. Throwing away his garment. It's not just a step of faith. It was a step born out of revelation. He threw away the familiar, threw away tradition. He threw away his secret fears because revelation was already sitting in his heart. When you go to God with revelation in your heart and you choose to raise your voice, what you are saying is that I'm shutting down all the noise. And nothing is going to stop me because I want to be bold in his presence. He threw away the little mindset that says you're just going to continue to beg. You're going to just make, $10 a day. Minimum wage mindset. He threw it away. Yeah. To go after destiny. Somebody here tonight, you need to throw away minimum wage mindset and go after destiny. And get the revelation of Jesus in your heart that will launch you to a new level. He threw away everything, all kinds of barriers where doors have been shut before. Have you been silenced before? It's time to say that my voice must be heard. God wants to hear your voice this month. And you have to do it boldly. Forget about the prayer you prayed that was not answered before. It's a new season. Can I get an amen to that?
Thank you for listening. We hope you were truly blessed. Please feel free to email us at info@elevationg.org for all inquiries or to share any testimonies. You can also follow us on our social media channels @ElevationNG to have access to real-time updates on all broadcasts and special programs. Till we come your way again, keep making greatness common.